Former President Biden is suing the Justice Department to block the release of audio and transcripts from his private interviews with a ghostwriter. The interviews used for his 2017 memoir recounted his final year as vice president and the death of his son, Beau. The recordings were obtained by the DOJ as part of an investigation by special counsel Robert Hur into Biden's handling of classified documents after leaving the vice president's office. After a year-long probe, Hur found Biden willfully retained and disclosed documents but found no criminal charges were warranted. President Trump was asked Wednesday if he thinks Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche should push for the recordings to be released.
I don't know. Maybe there's some constitutional reason. I don't know. I would like to see what he has to say, because we can never allow what happened to this country to happen. The man was grossly incompetent.
CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson joins us now. So good to see you. Is there a constitutional reason to block the release of these recordings?
Well, what the former president is arguing is that this is a huge violation of his privacy rights. And obviously, that's not specifically enumerated in the Constitution, but he's really making more of a statutory argument here. He's saying that these particular recordings are not covered by the Freedom of Information Act. And what he's focusing on is what you just mentioned, actually, that these are recordings that were made between him and his ghostwriter at his home, that they were extremely private. There was never the thought that they would be publicly released, and that the Department of Justice only obtained these recordings as part of a criminal investigation. And so what President Biden, former President Biden, is arguing is that for those two reasons, there's no purpose under the Freedom of Information Act to publicly disclose any of this information. He's also making policy arguments that this is an unwarranted intrusion into his privacy rights. And he's saying that Congress really doesn't have a good reason. They just have a pretextual reason for wanting this information.
What are the ways in which this could play out?
So at this point, we're looking to see what a judge does when it comes to this suit. Obviously, President Biden is saying, wait, pause, don't release this information. I think that a judge could say, you know what, there's some sense to that. I'm going to wait while I hear from both sides, while I have a full briefing on the Freedom of Information Act, on the privacy concerns, on why this information was obtained, and on whether there's a public interest in releasing this information now. So I have a sense that we might not have a full answer by June 15th, which I think is the date that otherwise this information would be released.
Jessica Levinson, thank you.